So the first weapon to be covering for the Scout's Guide is the Deep Core GK2 Assault Rifle. We're just going to call this the Assault Rifle. Pretty simple. It's a fairly standard weapon, by the way. I switched wrong one by accident. It's a pretty standard weapon. It's designed to be a relatively high rate of fire mid to long range weapon. Does 15 damage per shot with a magazine size of 25. Has 375 total ammo. This means that you are going to get my math is terrible right now. Why can't I add 12 and 3? 15. I'm stupid. 15 reloads before you run out of ammo. Has a rate of fire of 7 bullets per second. It has a 10% chance on a weak point hit to stun it for 1.5 seconds, and it also gets 10% bonus damage on weak point hit. The gun is designed to be accurate at close to mid ranges for weak points, and pretty good at body shots for mid to long range. In terms of shared modifiers, there are 2 shared modifiers for the reload speed on it, as well as an overclock. They both grant the same thing of a bonus of 2 rate of fire per second. Or 2 extra bullets per second. And there are 2 choices for bonus damage. There is a bonus 1 damage per bullet on tier 3 and a bonus 2 damage per bullet on tier 2. However, tier 2 forces you to choose between 4 more reloads or the 2 damage per bullet. Personally, because there are 2 choices, I generally take these 2. This is my normal setup for tier 2 and tier 3. Explain the rest of tier 3, you have the floating barrel. This reduces your recoil by 50%. What this does is it makes it so that your gun goes up less. This is good for the laser pointer build. You also have the high capacity magazine, which gives you a bonus 10 shots before you have to reload. I think this is terrible, but I don't like this modifier at all. I think either of these 2 are the ones I would run. For tier 1, we actually have 2 interesting choices. You have the one of your rate of fire options, which increases your ammo, your rate of fire. I personally like it at a rate of fire of 9, but I can deal with it at 7. You also have the Gyro Stabilization. This makes it so that you have pinpoint accuracy on your first shot. What that means is that there is no spread on the first bullet. It actually reduces your overall spread in total. And this is primarily what I would recommend for the laser pointer build right here. At tier 4, we have your second option for a rate of fire increase. This increases your rate of fire up to 11 if you have the previous modifier, or 9 if you don't. I don't like the rate of fire being higher than 9, by the way. You also have the weak point bullets. This gives you bonus weak point damage, taking it up to 30%. Weak point damage. That would be an extra 5 damage. 4 to 5 damage without any damage modifiers. Or you have the armor break, which is primarily what I run. Taking the weapon from 100% armor break to 600% armor break. This means you actually just shred through armor. Like, one shot is enough to shred any light armor and decimate most heavy armor. Or I should say medium armor. Heavy armor can't be destroyed. So, hardened rounds is like a must-have right here. At tier 4, or tier 5, we have the mini overclock options. I'm not a fan of these. But that's mostly because I don't like to move around very erratically. Battle Frenzy gives you a 10% movement speed bonus for 1.5 seconds after you kill an enemy. It's not listed, but that's the numbers on it. Yeah, I don't really move and shoot all that much. So, not a fan on that. There's also the stun modifier. This gives you an extra 30% stun chance if you get a weak point hit. Now, this is nice for a crowd control build. It gives you a reliable way to stun targets at medium to long range. However, I'm not primarily aiming for weak points most of the time. If I am, I'm going to run this modifier so that I can kill them a little bit faster. But it does give you some crowd control in your weapon, which this gun doesn't have any real crowd control. The one I primarily run is Battle Cool. This means that killing an enemy increases your accuracy. What that means is when you kill an enemy, it actually reduces the spread of the weapon by 10% per kill. This is a stacking effect, as long as you have that magazine in the clip. It also reduces the recoil by 10%. This is the primary one I run. Most people tend to run the Battle Frenzy, but I don't really move and shoot with this a lot. I use my secondary for move and shoot style play. There are a few builds for this gun. This is the primary one I run. You can flip these two around pretty easily, in my opinion, if you want. You can flip these two around pretty easily, in my opinion, if you want. You can flip these two around pretty easily if you want. This one I would leave pretty much all the time. These two I normally do. I just flipped around the rest. So it does depend on your overclock. Now, for your secondary weapon, either of the secondary weapons works. The Zhukovs can be a much higher ammo dump style weapon at close to medium range, so that you can use it as more of a sniper rifle with a laser pointer build on it. Less recoil, less spread, lower damage. The boomstick works if you want to use the deep core as a medium to long range weapon, using the shotgun as your primary close range combat starter. Overclock for the weapons are pretty good. The two overclocks I have, not really covering these, I kind of go for either or. So, like the laser pointer build, this one right here gives you rate of fire. I don't normally run that. I usually run this on a recoil build. So it gives me kind of a laser pointer style build on it. That way there, I don't really have to worry about, like, aiming at all. But the deep core is actually a really solid weapon. It's not anything special again. It's very similar to the burst pistol for gunner that we've already covered. It's not a special weapon by any means. It's pretty generic. It's pretty much I am here to shoot gun. Assault rifle. It does the job, though, in most situations. That's the primary reason why I like the deep core. It is my favorite out of the weapons, just because even though it is a generic, bland type weapon, it's good in all situations, with all secondaries, with all grenades. It's a safe option, which unfortunately the Scout doesn't have a lot of. All four of the Scout's other weapons that we're going to cover in the next few videos are all kind of specialized.